My name's Dave Brown. I'm the administrative coordinator for OMSA, and I use he, him, his pronouns. I've worked for the university for 17 years, and in this office for just past 6. So today, for Indigenous Peoples Heritage Month, we have 2 guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we have a handful of questions. And then when we're done with the questions, we're actually going to shift over to that table over there, and then they're actually going to give a bead making demonstration, and you'll actually be able to make some as well. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce yourself and your pronouns, as well as briefly describe what you do for a living.
Wangapa, that means hello in our language, Algonquin speaking people. But my name is Tamsy Stover, but everyone calls me Tammy. That makes it easier. And I'm from the Chickahominy tribe. And I've been beading since I was 9 years old, so been beading for a long time.
Dapo, Nataruan Smithakawa Agua. That means hello. My name is Dancing Cloud, but my English name is Caitlin. You can call me Katie. I am 25. Pronouns are she, her, and I am a member of the Rappahannock tribe. I am also a member of the Rappahannock tribe's youth council, the dance group, and the Cowboy committee.
All right, well, first question after the introduction is, how did you each first learn how to make beadwork jewelry, and at what point did you decide to actually make it a career?
Like I said, I've been beading since I was 9. And my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, taught all of us to bead, but I was the only one that stuck with it. I used to get teased as a child. Everyone else was outside playing, and I was inside beading. And I used to give my beadwork away, and my parents used to buy my beads, and then later on they said, you need to start buying your own beads. So I've been selling, probably since I was 16 years old, but actually a business, I didn't make it a business until 2015 after I retired from DuPont.
I taught myself originally to start beading. My cousins would bead, and I would kind of watch them, and I would just kind of pick up on it. So I guess that's kind of taught me. But maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I didn't originally plan on selling anything. I would just make them for friends, for my mom, sisters as gifts, stuff like that. And then as there was more of a demand, people wanted me to make stuff for powwows, specific events. I started to sell them last year.
So what is it like to run a business and create art that's so closely tied to your cultural heritage?
Well, running the business, it's not bad. My husband helps me a lot because he also makes jewelry, so it makes it easier, but he does all the jewelry I'm wearing. And
okay. And so what is it like to run a business and create art that's so closely tied to your cultural heritage?
Being closely tied to my heritage it's awesome. It really is, and I'm learning all the time because when the colonists came over, our people were using seeds, they were using shells, they were using anything natural. So when the colonists came over, they traded these glass beads. So of course we fell in love with them, and it makes me feel closer to that, knowing that that's what my ancestors did, and and I'm learning more and more all the time. I like to learn from other tribes, within the state. We're all still learning about each other.
Yeah, just to piggyback what she said, a lot of the tribes, especially first contact tribes, when the colonizers did come over, a lot of the culture was lost. But beading is one of the things that kind of remains the same across all tribes. So it's very, very spiritual. It's beading is medicine in a way. I never bead if I'm feeling upset or down, sick, anything like that. I only bead when I have a clear mind space, or I'm happy because your energy is almost projected into your beadwork. So it's very special. Very special. I feel very connected to my ancestors, my family that saw me bead. It's very
So how would you say that you maintain a healthy work work-life balance since you don't have a like typical 9-to-5 job?
Well, I'm retired now. I get to be all day and all night. I wish I didn't have to sleep. But when I was working, all my spare time, and I worked shift work when I was at DuPont. And I mean, even if it was for 10 minutes, it's like I had to touch those beads. And my mind is always going. I can't sleep sometimes because I've just got all these ideas, all these things I want to try, different materials. I just love it all. So.
I currently still have a 8 to 5, unfortunately. So I have to bead, of course, when I go home, but like I said, you don't want to bead, or I don't like to bead when I'm in a bad headspace. So, if there's a rough day at work, I'm not going to want to bead. I tend to do it more on the weekends, so got my Monday through Thursday, my 8 to 5, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I just try to bead whenever I'm in the mood.
And sleep in between.
Yes.
So, having this as a career, what would you say brings you the most joy in doing this work?
The most joy I get, my husband teases me all the time. I make things and I'll give it away. And I love to do that. I wish I could give it all away, but I do need some money so I can buy more beads. But it's very rewarding and something I've always wanted to do. And now I'm able to do it. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, I would probably say just seeing other people in other tribes wear my creations. I have a friend, met her through Instagram, of course, but she lives in Canada and she wears her, beadwork out when they go to their powwows. So it's really cool just seeing something that I've created and was so special to me and had all of my good vibes and energy in it being worn by other people. It's really cool.
And a follow-up to that would be, what would you say is a big misconception or something that people may not know about, like kind of like the behind-the-scenes tough stuff?
I was telling Katie earlier, I do better at powwows because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for native jewelry. And we do other venues. We do like local things. We've done wineries and we don't get a good reception. And I have beaver and otter and deer hides and my turtle shells and it's part of my heritage and I want people to see that. But some people, turn their nose up at that. So I have stopped doing that like at a wine festival or just a county thing. I don't take it out because people they'll just look at my work and they'll walk away. So I don't know what the turnoff is. I don't know if it's part of my heritage they're not interested in and it scares them off. And it upsets me, but I love it when people do come and say, oh, you have beautiful work. I love it. Your work is different, and I try to make it different. Pardon me, I'd say my work is more contemporary with the old. I like the old style, but I make it more contemporary.
Yeah, kind of the same. I have a lot of people who would say like, oh, I'm interested, or I like some of these earrings, but I'm not native, so I don't want to purchase it. A lot of people think that they have to be native, and I know a lot of people feel differently, but you agree, I guess, yeah. As long as it's not a design where the artist is saying, like, this is specifically, like it's a, super important or culturally significant design that is only meant for indigenous people, you can wear any of it. It's, like she said, we do a lot of contemporary work mixed in with traditional. So that's one of the biggest misconceptions is that you can't purchase it or wear it yourself because you are not indigenous.
Well, that basically answers my next question for the most part here, but how do you feel about non-indigenous people making and selling indigenous style items, and do you ever feel conflicted selling your creations to non-indigenous people?
I don't feel conflicted. If someone is interested in it, it makes me feel good. And as far as someone else, other than indigenous people making this work, it doesn't bother me my husband does, he uses a lot of turquoise and all this kind of stuff, but if they're saying that they're indigenous and they're not, that's what upsets me, and I've asked people, I'll say, well, what tribe are you affiliated with? Well, I think I have some Cherokee, or whatever, and, that upsets me, but, that's.
Yeah, the internet was very torn on this, which is why I wanted to ask.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I would say people, as far as making it, I do see a lot of like pages on Instagram that, they'll hashtag native made, or excuse me, not native made, native inspired. And I like to say, don't shop native inspired, shop inspired native. Because most of those, or all of them, they don't know the significance behind these pieces that they're making. They're just seeing other people create things, and they're counting the beads and replicating it, and probably selling it for more or less, so that you go to them instead of native made businesses. So it's definitely a big turnoff for me when people that are not indigenous create those types of things. But I will say beaded jewelry is not just indigenous. It's multiple cultures do it. So as long as it's not something that is native inspired, then.
This is the last question. It's pretty open-ended before we move over to the table over here. But do you have any upcoming events that you're going to be at, or upcoming projects that you wanted to bring up?
Saturday, we're gonna do something locally in James City County. It's a Christmas oriented thing, but they've invited vendors, and they called us and specifically wanted us there because they like our jewelry, so we're going to that. That's Saturday. And then I have orders, Christmas orders, people call me, can you make me this? So that happens all the time. I'm always busy.
Yeah, a lot of Christmas orders, or just Christmas gifts. I'm trying to buy a house right now, so I told my mom, my sisters, I'm like, look, y'all are getting earrings. You're getting earrings and necklaces for Christmas. And then as far as projects, I have, there's a new winery, native brand winery that is in King and Queen, Mattaponi Reserve, on the Mattaponi Reservation. I'm going to be making a lot of jewelry to sell there in the springtime, so I'm just currently working on stock for that.
Cool. And you all have your business cards and all that stuff on the table, so if you want to reach out to these folks, you can check that stuff out. We're actually going to move from the question and answer part over to the table here, and I don't know if you plan on doing the demo and then showing people how to do things, or do you want to do it kind of like live, showing people as you're doing things, and then people can create something themselves?
I feel like we picked a simple style earring that maybe we would probably be able to